Can Christians eat anything now? This includes things like shrimp, pig, shellfish, things of that nature. Because in Leviticus, we're told certain foods like the pig is unclean, shrimp is unclean, but now under this New Testament, is that done away with? Well, let's look at some verses in context. So, 1 Timothy 4:5 says, "For everything created by Elohim is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with gratitude, for it is sanctified by means of the word of Elohim and prayer." What is sanctified? Means to be set apart. How is it sanctified? Well, it's sanctified or set apart by the word. Is not Leviticus the word? Is that not the Bible? So the word, the Bible tells us what food is and what food isn't. So let's look at some other verses. So this is a common one, Mark 7:18. So he said to them, "Are you thus without understanding? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him?" One translation puts it this way: "Don't you understand either?" he asked. "Can't you see that the food you put into your body cannot defile you?" The New Century Version says, the Messiah says the following: "Do you not understand? Surely you know that nothing that enters someone from outside can make that person unclean. If it does not go into his mind, but into his stomach, then it goes out of the body." When Messiah said this, he meant that no longer was any food unclean for people to eat. So the whole context is, what is food? The Bible defines what food is. Shrimp, pork, things of that nature were never considered food by the biblical standard. And that whole context of Mark is talking about eating with unwashed hands, which he debated the Pharisees about. So let's continue on. So clean animals existed before the Mosaic covenant. So we read Genesis 7:1-3. Then Yahweh said to Noah, "Enter the ark, you and your household, for you alone I have seen to be righteous before me in this time. You shall take with you of every clean animal by sevens, a male and his female, and of the animals that are not clean, two, a male and his female. Also birds of the sky, sevens, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of the earth." So the context of something being clean or unclean existed before the Mosaic covenant. So here's where it gets interesting. In the book of Acts, we read about how Peter has this vision, but it's kind of a lot. But think of it this way: when Peter's given the vision, one of the first things, when the scroll comes down with all these different beasts, it says, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." He says, "Not so, for nothing common or unclean has entered my lips." How could something be common or unclean if the Messiah made all food cleans all the way back in Mark? And this is in the book of Acts. This is many years after the death and resurrection of Messiah. Doesn't make any sense. How could he say, "I've never eaten anything common or unclean"? Common or unclean would be things that don't exist, because the Messiah made all things clean. And then it says Peter even doubted the vision. Then you read later on, all the way at the end of Acts, Peter says, "I'm not to call any man common or unclean." It had nothing to do with food, but calling Gentiles unclean, which the Jews at that time perceived. Read the book of Acts, and it makes it very clear. The clean food laws are still in effect today. It only makes sense.